Most people think retirement is decided in their 50s. It is actually decided in one quiet decade they barely notice slipping past. Your 30s behave like a hidden switch. Flip it one way and you buy freedom. Flip it the other way and you sign up for 40 more years at a desk. Here's the strange part. The switch makes almost no noise while it happens. Let me draw it out. Imagine two friends, Sam and Alex. They earn the same money and live on the same street. At 30, Sam starts putting a small amount away every month. Nothing dramatic, just a steady drip into an investment account. Alex does nothing. Alex plans to start later, once life calms down. Life never calms down. Now watch what money does over time. When you invest, your money earns a return. Then that return earns its own return. This is compounding, and it is the closest thing to magic in personal finance. The trick is that compounding needs one thing above all else. Time, not talent, not a huge salary, time. And your 30s hand you the most valuable time you will ever own. Money invested at 30 has decades to double, then double again. Money invested at 50 barely gets going before you need it. Here is a rough example, not a promise. Say Sam invests 200 pounds a month from 30 to 60. Alex waits and invests double that, 400 pounds a month, but only from 40 to 60. You would think Alex catches up. Alex is putting in far more each month. Yet in most reasonable scenarios, Sam still ends up ahead. Sam gave the money an extra 10 years to grow, and those early years quietly did the heavy lifting. That is the glitch. The person who started small and early beats the person who started big and late. This is why the 30s decide everything. Miss this decade and you cannot buy it back. You can earn more later. You can work harder later. But you can never add 10 years to the front of your life. The clock only moves one way. So why do so many of us waste it? Because the 30s are loud. This is the decade of weddings and babies and first houses. Money arrives and money vanishes. It feels responsible to pour everything into the mortgage and deal with retirement someday. Someday keeps moving. And every year you wait, the switch leans a little further toward 40 more years of work. Now the good news, you do not need to be rich to flip this switch the right way. You need 3 simple moves. Move 1. Start now, even if it is tiny. 10 pounds a month invested at 30 beats 100 pounds a month, promised at 45. The amount matters less than the start date. Getting going breaks the spell. Move 2. Use the boring tax-free accounts built for this. In the UK, that means things like an ISA or a pension. A pension often comes with free money from your employer on top of what you put in. Turning that down is like refusing a pay rise. Take it. Move 3. Automate it so you never see it. Set the money to move on payday before it hits your spending account. You cannot spend what you never noticed. Willpower fails. A standing order does not. Let me show you the quiet magic once more, because this is the whole point. Every pound you invest in your 30s is not really 1 pound. It is a tiny worker that goes off and hires more workers, who hire more workers, for the next 30 years. A pound you invest in your 50s only gets to work a short shift before you clock out. Same pound. Wildly different job. This is also why the panic people feel at 50 is so common. They finally have spare money, they finally take retirement seriously, and they discover the cheapest, most powerful years already left the building. They can still improve their future. Starting late beats never starting, but they are pushing a boulder that a younger version of them could have rolled downhill. So if you are in your 30s right now, you are holding the switch in your hand. That is a gift, not a threat. You have the one thing money cannot buy back, and you have it today. And if your 30s are behind you, do not spiral. The second best time to start is this afternoon. The rules do not care about your age. They only reward the moment you begin. Here is your one takeaway. Retirement is not won by the person who earns the most. It is won by the person who gives their money the most time to grow. So do the small, dull thing this week. Open the account. Set up 10 or 20 pounds to move on payday. Let time do the rest quietly in the background. That single habit is the switch, and today you get to decide which way it flips. If this made compounding finally click, subscribe to Penny Drawn. We turn confusing money into simple doodles, one drawing at a time.